So what's been like the pain points that you've experienced? So like in terms of challenges, things you wish you was there but weren't at the time you're going through the different experiences you've had.
Okay. So I think in foundation, maybe just trying to decide which specialty
Okay.
at the time, because there were a lot of different things were interesting to me. So just trying to decide and trying to figure out which one to commit to, because I
Yeah.
felt that was quite a big decision. A lot of the training pathways are lengthy, so
Mm.
I think it would make sense to just rashly commit to one and then realize that that's not what I want to do, and then have to backtrack and have to go into something else. So
Mm.
it did take quite a bit of time and effort, and just trying to get rotations and the specialties that I was considering, to be able to try and figure out which one exactly. And I breathe. One touch feels skinny.
I'll just start off by asking if you can introduce yourself to the audience. Can you tell us who you are?
Okay, all right. So my name is Abby. Well, it's short for Abigail. Abigail Aboagye-Odei. And I'm currently a GP trainee. So I'm currently in
Yeah.
GP ST2. Yeah.
Ah, that's nice. Where are you from, Abby? If they're
So
wondering where you're from.
okay, so I'm from Ghana. Yes, that's where I'm from.
What part of Ghana are you from?
My mom is from the Ashanti region. My dad is from the Eastern region. So it's kind of like a mix of the two. But then
Ah, okay.
my family lives in Accra. But then I left Ghana several years ago to come
Okay.
to the UK. So I'm pretty much living in the UK at the moment.
Ah, okay. Okay, that's good. Um, you're welcome. And can you tell us what's been your like journey to get to this stage from like medical school, from like university, basically?
From university, okay. It's
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
one from university. So I first did a degree in
Okay.
University of Liverpool in tropical disease biology. And then after that, I went on to do medicine in Lancaster
Okay.
University for 5 years. So the plan had always been to do medicine, to be honest,
Yeah.
but the journey just didn't end up being as straight as as I wanted it to be.
Okay.
From high school, so I went to high school in Ghana,
Okay.
and after high school, well, just before I was about to finish high school, when it was time to start applying to university, the plan was to apply for medicine, but then there was a little bit of a hitch, and missed
Mm.
the line for applying for medicine. So my plan had always been to come to the UK, start with like a science-related degree, and then transfer on to
Mm.
medicine. But then along the way, just had to be that I had to finish the degree first, because the rules changed in the UK with regards to how you could transfer on. So I had to finish the
Okay.
degree first, apply for medicine, which was what I ended up doing. So did 3 years of tropical disease, and then applied for
Yeah.
medicine for 5 years, and then after that did foundation. Yeah. So
Okay. Oh, that's good. Did you get straight on to from tropical diseases onto medicine? Did
yeah.
you walk
Um,
straight on? Okay.
yeah.
Okay, that's
So,
good.
so
That's
I
good.
applied for medicine when I was in, I think, third year of tropical disease
Sure.
biology, and then did the interviews and all of that within that period. So
Yeah.
straight after I graduated, I started on Lancaster University doing
Okay.
medicine.
Since a long time ago, like personal statement, UK cards, and all the fancy bits, interviews. Um, it's a long time. I can't even remember the whole process now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It
Yeah.
was it's been quite a while ago, but yeah, it was. I remember it was quite competitive, to get into medicine,
Mm.
and then with being an international student, that even made it more competitive, because I remember at the time that I applied, there
Yeah.
weren't as many medical schools taking international students. I only had a handful that I
Mm.
could choose from. And
Okay.
eventually, when I got into Lancaster, I think there were just four of us international students. So it was quite
Oh.
good, yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow. You guys must have like had like a close group. and guys might have known yourself through medical school, because I think that's what normally happens. Like, you
Yeah.
sort of identify the people you roll with. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And when did you finish from medical school?
So I finished from medical school in 2019.
Okay.
That's when I graduated from Lancaster, and then I started foundation training in the Northeast. So I did F1, F2 in a hospital in the Northeast.
Sure.
And then after that, I did a year as a trust grade doctor and did a little bit of research within that period. So I,
Nice.
yeah, so I took that year because at the time I wasn't so sure of which specialty I wanted to get into. So I wanted a year to sort of clear my head and just do a bit more sort of like introspection and just try and figure out, what specialty I wanted to commit myself to. And within that period, I decided to go for GP. So
Okay. Why GP? Interesting.
yeah, so I had there's so many different specialties that I was interested in initially. And I wanted to do pediatrics, and then I did a rotation in foundation and found that it wasn't suited to my needs and suited to what I wanted my career to be. So I think eventually what made me decide to go for GP was the work-life balance and the flexibility that general practice offers. I found that the other hospital specialties didn't, or I found that GP would give me like a bit more flexibility as compared to the other hospital specialties. So that's why I eventually decided to go for GP.
Okay, that makes sense. It's not an easy decision to make, especially when you have a lot of options in front of you.
Yeah.
So how has GP training been since then?
Yeah, GP training has been okay. It hasn't been. It has gone as expected. Pretty much as I expected it to be. So, although I would have preferred to have a bit more, I would have preferred to have more exposure in GP, because I think the rotations that I got given were a bit more hospital heavy than I would have liked. So I feel like, as I said, now being ST2, I've not had as much experience in GP as I would have liked. But then I think it has been good. It has been fine. The rotations I've had have been really helpful in terms of shaping me to be the GP that I want to be, and the teaching that we get as well has also been really, really helpful. So I think so far things have been fine. Training has been okay. Has not been anything anything sort of out of the ordinary or anything different from what I expected it to be. Yeah.
That makes sense. And you currently told me that at the moment you're taking a year out from training.
Yeah.
Yeah. How have you found that so far?
So it's currently, I think I've been on maternity leave for 2 to 3 months, 2 months, a bit more than 2 months now. And I think it's just, I always think about, eventually when I do get back into training, I'm probably going to be rusty, and that is something that worries me a little bit sometimes when I think about it. But currently, I think I'm just trying to focus on, just taking care of my little one and just making sure that she's okay. And then eventually when it's time to get back into training, I think things will fall into place.
Yeah.
They always do.
I think they will. Yeah. And I think that's the beauty of general practice. It offers you that flexibility. In terms of if life was to change, like you have done in your case, where it's a new and different life circumstance, then you can actually fix that you can fit that into your GP training and take a year out. And I think that's the beauty of GP training. Even though you're taking a step back, but the good thing about the training scheme in the Northeast is like you feel well supported. And I think it has the highest satisfaction amongst trainees across the whole of England. So that speaks volumes for itself.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that definitely when it's getting close to me restarting or getting back into training, I know that there's going to be a lot of support that's going to be available to usher me back in. So I know everything will be fine, and I'll be able to pick up from where I left off. Yeah, but yeah, training the Northeast has been, training the Northeast has been amazing so far. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting though. It's such like when you think about it, it's actually a massive um, demographic in terms of we're in the same cohort, we're in the same training scheme, but I hardly ever see you except once a year physically, which is interesting when you think about it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. You've sort of had similar career paths to myself in terms of doing med, going straight on to do medicine and finishing in 2019. And then F1, F2, and then F3. And now I'm GP training, but going to FC3 in August. I just wanted to just ask you to think back with your whole experiences. What has been the pain points that you've experienced in medicine? Um, if you're looking back from like medical school up until today.
Okay, so what has been the main? I didn't catch that.
So what's been like the pain points that you've experienced? So like in terms of challenges, things you wish you was there but weren't at the time you're going through the different experiences you've had.
Okay. So I think in foundation, maybe just trying to decide which specialty at the time, because there were a lot of different things were interesting to me. So just trying to decide and trying to figure out which one to commit to, because I felt that was quite a big decision. A lot of the training pathways are lengthy, so I think it could make sense to just rashly commit to one and then realize that that's not what I want to do, and then have to backtrack and have to go into something else. So it did take quite a bit of time and effort and just trying to get rotations and the specialties that I was considering to be able to try and figure out which one exactly. In terms of challenges, I would say with regards to GP training, with regards to what I'm doing presently, just being able to go to work, but then still getting engaged in activities to improve myself in my personal portfolio. I think that's something that is not as easy as I thought it would be. Just in work life, being a doctor on the wards or in whatever rotation, but then still trying to seek out for opportunities to improve myself. I think that is quite challenging to find the balance. So I think that's something that I would say has not been as straightforward as I would have liked for it to be.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And I know I'm putting you on the spot. If you were to prefer a solution, what would that be?
It was that is difficult. I would say that I would, right from foundation, I would try and engage in as many opportunities as possible and not wait till like further on in my career, now trying to, seek out things. I think right from the get-go, it is difficult, but then, maybe trying to manage your time really well as well would also help with regards to, being able to balance things out. Yeah, it's quite difficult, but I think that is a solution that I can think of. And even right from medical school, actually, just as many sort of opportunities that come your way, there's always different things that you can learn from, and it's with the nature of medicine, it ends up being a thing of like your skill set, and if there are diverse opportunities to improve your skill set, it's always a good idea to just jump on board, I'd say.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you very much, Abby. And you're spot on. So the reason I set up Oddarra, I know people think of it like a scrubs company, but it's to help like sort of ease transition from medical school. into working as a doctor, and as well helping people make a better decision when it comes to career choices. So from F1, you're sort of getting those different activities, be that workshop, be that getting in touch with a mentor. So you're not leaving it to the end of F2 and F3, where your life circumstances might have changed.
Yeah.
So I think that's the struggle with a lot of people because your circumstances are always going to change. So it's better to be prepared from the beginning.
Yeah.
So I don't think medical schools provide that much support in terms of transition. Once you finish medical school, you're on your own. My medical school hasn't called me to check up on me one day. So
Yeah.
yeah, it is tough. I wish they would do that. I wish they would call to check up on you to see how you're getting on. But sadly, they just think, oh, you're fine. You've left us. You're no longer our priority. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely see what you mean. Yeah, with regards to if there are sort of more platforms to be able to um, help medical students transition, because it's
mm,
quite a big thing. I remember when I started my first job. I
yeah,
remember thinking that, oh, yesterday I was a medical student, today I'm a doctor. Oof. So
yeah,
um,
yeah.
yeah, so
It is a huge responsibility, especially like when you're looking after real people. You're no longer looking after simulated patients. You're looking after real people with
exactly.
relatives calling you to find out, oh, how's my dad doing? Or how's my mom doing? Like, you get thrown into the deep end and you just have to swim. You can't afford to sink, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I remember
yeah,
one of my first jobs as well. Like, I remember one of the nurses asking me, "So, doctor, what are you going to do?" And I remember thinking, "Oh, flip, yeah, I'm that doctor. I'm supposed to do something."
yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's interesting, but you do learn, and you do get
Mm,
better. You do hone your skills, and I think that is the nature of medicine. It's that experiential learning. The more you see patients, the more you do something, the more you engage with a particular skill, the better you get at it. Essentially.
that's true. That's true. And what would you say to that young girl, if you were to look back about 10 years ago, to that young girl who is just about to start medicine and you think some things are not possible, like, for example, giving birth to a child whilst in training, what would you say to her?
I would say to keep being determined and to keep pushing
Mm,
through. That it's not going to be the journey might not be a straight path.
straight line. Yeah,
It might be that they might have to, there might be some curves and a few bumps and a few, different things along the way. But then it all, molds. It will all mold her, to be a better individual, a better doctor. So to embrace the journey, essentially, despite the struggles, despite the difficulties, because it will all pay off in the end.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I would say. It's just persevere,
yeah.
and it will all end up working together for this young person. Or yeah, that's what I say.
Thank you. Thank you. Honestly, thank you very much, Abby, for coming to do this. Despite the challenges, I think for me, my reassurance is that hopefully one of these videos somewhere would sort of give somebody that inspiration to say it is possible to go after my dreams, basically. Like, training doesn't have to be this difficult thing where you're not sure. I have all of these unanswered questions. I'm hoping that with these series of interviews, speaking to one doctor a week, I'm hoping that it would help somebody out there and sort of ease the transition into medicine, into from medical school to working in the NHS. So
Yeah,
thank you very much. Yeah.
yeah, you are doing
Um,
a good job.
it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But yeah, it's the vision to help the next person because I actually, uh, from FT, I applied to surgical training and I did a degree. And looking back, I actually really didn't need it, but it just felt like I wasted a lot of time. Now the spent doing something else. So it's that drive. It's what pushes me every day basically to say, okay, do something like someone out there will find it helpful. I like The GP training, like you said, gives you a good balance of everything. For me, it was more the work-life balance. I've poured a lot of sweat, tears, and blood already. So I figured out in 10, 15 years, I know what I want to be at that time. So that informed my decision to do GP. And it's been a great journey. I had its challenges, but you're well supported through everything.
Mm. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. That brings us to the end of the interview. You've
Okay.
done
All
so
right.
well. Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right.